Hey, what's up everybody? This is Alex Molina93 here. Today I'm gonna show you my Nintendo GameCube Game Collection. I like this console a lot. I mean, it is not one of my favorite video game systems ever, but it doesn't mean that I don't like it. I like the GameCube a lot because of its games and because of its controller. Its controller is one of my favorite video game controllers ever made, and I also use it for Super Smash Bros. Games and also some of the Wii games that are compatible with it. So there you go. But the Nintendo GameCube, I really like it, and I had good memories with it back then, since I was still a Nintendo fan back then. I was still not a multi-platform gamer until the PS2, and I just got into the other multi-plat games. And I'm no longer just a Nintendo gamer anymore. Also, it is one of the most underrated systems ever because it didn't sell that well. I mean, due to its design and because it doesn't have enough games to play, unlike the PS2. I mean, don't get me wrong, it had a decent third-party support, but it didn't beat the PS2, neither the original Xbox. But this is still remembered as a good console, and I want to show the games that I had good memories with. So let's get started, shall we? The first game that I'm gonna show it to you, which was a launch title, and that is Luigi's Mansion. This is a very good game. It doesn't play like the other Mario games you knew and love, because this is very different. Think of it as Ghostbusters, but with Luigi. And it is a good game, but the thing is, it is very short. But at the very least, it's very open compared to Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon on the 3DS, which was a good game, but it is very linear and mission structured compared to this. I prefer this because you can explore throughout the mansion in a free way, and I prefer this and hope the third one will be just as good as this one. Another great game as a launch title, and that is Star Wars Rogue Leader. I mean, I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, but this is one of the greatest games you could find on the GameCube, and this game still holds up very well as of today. And if you like Star Wars games, if you like rail shooter games, this is one of the games that I recommend the most. You should try it out. Another launch title for the GameCube, and that is Wave Race Blue Storm. Very fun jet skiing game. I like Wave Race games. I like Wave Race 64 a lot more than this, but this is still pretty good. It's just that its controls get clunky at times. You need to get used to have more fun with this. And Nintendo needs to bring back this franchise. It has been a long time we haven't got a new Wave Race game, and please Nintendo, bring Wave Race back, and you'll have no regrets. Another launch title. Wow, the GameCube had a lot of great launch titles. Super Monkey Ball. I'm not into party games that much, but this is one of the fun games that you could find for the GameCube. You're using as these monkeys inside a bowl like they're hamsters, and it is all up to you to move the platforms to reach the goals. I mean, it feels more like a racing game, but it has mini games as well. But it's still pretty fun. I recommend you check this out if you're into party games, if you want to play it in a casual way, of course. One of my favorite fighting games of all time, and one of the most popular GameCube games of all time, Super Smash Bros. Melee. Love this game a lot. It is still fun till this day, and I still play it to this day for myself or when my friends are in my house, and we still have a good laughs with this game, and it's still pretty fun till this day. It's fighting mechanics, its modes, and I was very impressed back then when I first saw this game because how beautiful this game looks and how fast this game is, and it's still pretty popular till this day, and I have no regrets to play it once again. I mean, one of my favorite fighting games of all time. What can I say? This is one of the first Sonic games that I played, and this is one of my favorite Sonic games of all time, and that is Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. I never had a Dreamcast back then until now, This is my first experience on the GameCube, and I have no regrets because this is still a pretty good port. I mean, this is not a remake, it's a port of a Dreamcast game. And this is the first Sonic game on a Nintendo console because Sega sees their development with hardware and they're now doing software nowadays. And this is still one of my favorite Sonic games ever. It is not for everyone, but you may like this game or not because of its design choices, but you should try it out if you like it or not, if you want to. It also has a great multiplayer as well. If you're into survival horror games, this is one of the games that I recommend on the GameCube. That is Resident Evil. Yeah, this is a remake of the PS1 game, and it is fantastic. I mean, I like how they did it with this game. I mean, I haven't played the PS1 version. This is my first time on the GameCube version, but it looks like it is the best version for Resident Evil 1, and I think you can try this game out on any platform. You should try this Resident Evil remake. It's still pretty good till this day. This is a game that I got it recently and I haven't played it that much, and that is Eternal Darkness, 1080's Requiem. I feel so ashamed for not playing this game back then, but recently I'm so intrigued to play this game, and from playing it from the beginning it gets very interesting, and I want to play it a lot more during these days to get my full opinions on it. And I feel like Nintendo needs to bring this franchise back. They have the rights to it. I mean, who knows if they'll bring this game on the Switch or on the future, but who knows. I want to play this game throughout these days, and I have no regrets, of course. Another great game, Super Mario Sunshine. Not one of my favorite Mario games, but it's still pretty good till this day. I mean, some of the design choices they made I didn't enjoy that much, but the game itself is still pretty good. I recommend it if you have a GameCube and if you like Mario games, of course. But this is very different from Mario 64 because you have FLUDD and you have to clean all the mess and use FLUDD for all the puzzles to collect shine sprites. And I like its open level design, and I like its setting, of course, but I didn't like the voice acting, and I didn't like that you have to clean all the mess. But it is what it is. I mean, Mario Sunshine, great game. A lot of people want a remake of this game. Who knows if it's gonna happen, but it wouldn't be that bad. One of the most underrated GameCube games ever, Star Fox Adventures. Not many people like this game because it is not a traditional Star Fox. It is more of an action-adventure game, and it feels more like Zelda than Star Fox. Miyamoto suggested Rare to shoehorn Star Fox characters into this game. It was meant to be its own game, Dinosaur Planet. I mean, it is now considered as a Star Fox game. I did enjoy it for what it is. I mean, I agree that it could have been better and it should have been its own IP, but that's how it ended. Oh well. And this is also the only Rare game on the GameCube and the last Rare game on a Nintendo home console. And I did enjoy it for what it is. What can I say? I mean, not many people liked it. Couldn't blame you. Another game that I picked up recently and I haven't played it that much, and that is Time Splitters 2. When you play this game for the first time, it makes you feel like you're playing GoldenEye and Perfect Dark, because this is made by the same people that made those two games on a Nintendo 64. And from what I'm playing recently, it's not that bad. It's pretty good, actually. And I need to play the first and the third one when I get time, and I need to play more of this game, of course. One of my favorite games of all time, and probably my favorite GameCube game ever, Metroid Prime 1. Fantastic game. I love and how they did this game. I mean, such a fantastic game. Its presentation, its controls, its atmosphere, and this is the first 3D Metroid game ever, and this is also the first game from Retro Studios. And this is a fantastic game, and I highly recommend if you're into action adventure games, and especially if you like Metroid. I mean, this game is very intriguing and it's still fantastic till this day. Another great game for the GameCube, and that is The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. It's the first Zelda game to have its cartoony and cel-shaded art style, and also having its sailing adventure. I mean, it had so much backlash back then because of its art style, but don't let the art style get into you, because this is still a great game, and this is the Zelda you know and love. You have no regrets. I mean, it is still pretty fun. It's still a great game till this day, either on the GameCube or on the Wii U, it doesn't matter. It is still a pretty good Zelda game, of course. I'm not into Mario sports games, but this is one of the games that I enjoyed, and that is Mario Golf Total Tour. I like this much better than the N64 game. I didn't like that one that much, but in my opinion, this is better. And this is still pretty fun and very relaxing. And if you like golf games, this is one of the games that I suggest that you should pick it up. It is still pretty fun till this day. A great sequel to the first Soul Calibur, Soul Calibur 2, fantastic game. I mean, it is still fun till this day, and the graphics still hold up today. And the reason I got the GameCube version is because of Link. I mean, the other versions have their own guest characters, but more people prefer the GameCube version because of Link. I mean, he's more iconic. Why not? And it's still pretty fun, and it is a great sequel to first Soul Calibur. I mean, I haven't played the third one as of yet. I didn't like the fourth one. I had zero interest on the fifth one, and the newest one, I still have yet to play it. I'm really convinced with Soul Calibur 6. But Soul Calibur 2, great game. You need to pick this up if you like sword weapon-based fighting games, of course. Another great game for the GameCube, and that is F-Zero GX. A very fun game, but this is the most brutal and most challenging racing games you could find, because it is very fast, and the tracks and the controls you need to get used to. I mean, this is one of the most frustrating racing games of all time. It makes you want to pull your hair out if you fail, but you need to practice even more if you want to be very good at this game. But I do recommend it if you like futuristic racing games. And it's been a long time that Nintendo didn't brought up a new F-Zero game. Nintendo, you need to bring F-Zero franchise back, at least for the Switch. But if you make a new one, don't make it as hard as this game. Please, Nintendo. Another great game for the GameCube, and that is Beautiful Joe. This game is fantastic. It makes you feel like you're in the comics, and it is a beat 'em up game, and you're gonna have a good time with this. It's still pretty good, and I recommend it if you have a GameCube or the PS2. Even though it says only for GameCube, this is also available on the PS2. No matter which console, you need to play this. It's still very fun till this day. One of my favorite Mario Kart games ever, Mario Kart Double Dash, a very fun game till this day, and I really hope Nintendo brings back this mechanic where you can use two characters on a single card. One is the driver and the other one who's on the back using items and pushing the other drivers. It's still pretty fun till this day, and you need to play this. I mean, to have some good laughs with your friends and for yourself, of course. This is not one of my favorite Sonic games, but this is one of the decent ones you could find, and that is Sonic Heroes. This is a game where you can use 3 characters on a single gameplay. First one being the speed type, second one being the flying type, and the third one being the power type. I mean, it gets repetitive for a while, but it's still okay for what it is. I mean, not as good as Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, and especially the classic ones on the Genesis, but its presentation still holds up very well as of today. But it gets, you need to get used to the controls, I could say. But this is one of the decent ones that you could find for the Sonic franchise. I mean, I guess I recommend it. One of the good RPGs you could find on the GameCube, and that is Tales of Symphonia. Great game. I like its presentation, I like its characters, and I like the music, its setting. I mean, this is still one of the great RPGs ever made. I mean, for the GameCube as well. I do recommend it if you're into RPGs as well, and if you like Tales of games, of course. The other great RPG for the GameCube, and that is Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. Great game. I believe that this is the best Paper Mario game as of today, because the most recent ones are not traditional RPGs like this one and the first one for the Nintendo 64. I mean, Super Paper Mario is more like a platformer, and Color Splash and Sticker Star, I believe, they weren't that great. But this is a game that I recommend the most if you're into the Paper Mario franchise. I mean, Nintendo, if you want to please all the Paper Mario fans, make the game just like this and the first Paper Mario game, and you'll have no regrets, and it's gonna sell that well. I promise you, Nintendo. Another great game, Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. I mean, this is still fantastic, but I preferred the first and the third one because I didn't like some of the design choices they made for this game, but it's still pretty good till this day, and it's still one of the good Metroid games you could find, especially on the GameCube. I still recommend it, don't worry. This is a game that I haven't played as of yet, and that is Baten Kaitos, Eternal Wings, and the Lost Ocean. I need to play this game a lot more to bring my full opinions on it. I mean, it looks very interesting for an RPG, and this is Monolith Soft's game, of course. And let's see how good this game is from what I've heard. One of the decent games you could find on the GameCube, and that is Star Fox Assault. This is not as good as the first Star Fox games, and especially Star Fox 64. But I could say that this is better than Star Fox Zero because this brings the traditional way, and it has its own story and different characters in this game, which is not the same like you've experienced with Star Fox 1 and Star Fox 64, and especially Star Fox Zero. I mean, this is one of the decent ones. I mean, not the greatest, but you could enjoy this game for what it is, I guess. And least but not least, Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. I was so lucky to find this game cheaper on a garage sale, because this game is extremely expensive nowadays, and I wish you luck finding this game cheaper. And other than that, this is a great Fire Emblem game, coming from someone who's not the biggest Fire Emblem fan, but this is one of the good ones you'll find, and you'll have no regrets whatsoever. That is all my Nintendo GameCube Game Collection. I'm not finished with my GameCube collection because I need to pick up some games left for my collection, such as Custom Robo, Resident Evil 0, Donkey Kong Jungle Beat, and the other games that I'll pick up in the future. But I had so many good memories with this system, and it has so many good games on its library, and it is not bad of a console, and I recommend it for everybody. I mean, it is one of the most underrated consoles, but you could enjoy it for what it offered, and still a pretty good system. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Feel free to subscribe to my channel for more videos to come for you guys to enjoy. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and a like button below, and comment in the section below what you think about Nintendo GameCube, if you have good memories with it or not. It is your choice. So, thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day. Peace. Just like that.